Have you ever gotten frustrated because you've done your best to share what you believe? You've been articulate, prepared. You sat down and took your time, you were compassionate, you listened to all the questions, and then you offered the most reasonable, loving, gentle, respectful responses you can give, only to find out that it seems like nothing is starting to even dent the wall that this person has built up. I've done this in my own family. I've got people who I love deeply, who I've shared the gospel with, and it just bounces off of them. They don't even seem to hear anything I'm saying. Well, it turns out there are 3 reasons why people reject a truth claim. And sometimes we don't think about it that way. So we kind of continue to go back at that person thinking that it's one of these 3 forms of rejection, when in fact it's another. So let me just share them with you. I call these the 3 reasons why anyone shuns the truth. Now, you'll have to hear how I use the word shun. The first one is rational. Okay, I cheated a little bit, but the idea here is that sometimes people have honest, evidential objections. They don't think there's enough good evidence to actually demonstrate something is true. And they'll say it like, you know, I've thought about it, but I don't think there's enough evidence for this, or I just don't think the case is good enough, or whatever. Well, that's fine. That means you're gonna have to spend some time making the case a little bit more thoroughly. But there are 2 other forms of shunning the truth. The second one is emotional. Sometimes people shun the truth because they've had a bad experience with Christians. It has nothing to do with the case for Christianity. It has to do with an emotional response to somebody who calls himself a Christian. And then there's the third form, volitional. People who don't want to bend their knee. Even if it were true, they would not become a Christian because they've got a volitional desire to resist the truth. They don't want it to be true. It's a matter of will. Now let me tell you, the people I love deeply, and some of these folks are not Christians, almost always, the objection will sound like it's a rational objection when in fact it's not really rational at all. Because think about it, if you're talking to your friend and you say, well, why do you don't think this is true? Are they really going to say, well, you know, I've got some issues in my own life, I don't want it to be true? No, they're not going to say that. They're going to say, well, there's not enough evidence for this. But in fact, it may very well be an emotional or volitional issue that's really at the root of the problem. Here's what it means for us. It means, number 1, you can't go back at these folks every time as though it's a rational issue if it's something other than that. Ask good questions. Be sensitive to what people are telling you. They may have been telling you all along what the real issue is and you've been ignoring it. And number 2, are you praying about this? We sometimes think it's all on us. We've got to make this case articulately. We've got to come back at it again, learn the case better, make the case better, when in fact we need to be praying that God will remove that volitional resistance so they'll hear what we have to say. So this will change the way you actually approach people if you know these are the 3 forms of actual resistance, and then know that you've got a range of responses from making the case to just praying that God will change a heart and modeling Christ so that you don't become another reason why they're resisting the truth. Remember, there are 3 reasons: rational, emotional, and volitional. It's time for us to master the differences.